it's that time of the year again where all your relatives just give you money because they don't really care or know you, for that matter, and you're looking to have a good time, and I put together my own list of 2017's top games. Now, this is my opinion. If you don't like it, you can tell me, be a little crybaby, or you can form your own list and tell me about it, because if your list is not like mine, it's invalid, right? Well, here we go. Number 10. I waited until there was 4 days left until Christmas, cause this game will be a bit controversial. It is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds that has the top 10 spot, mainly just because it's super addicting, and I was hesitant to put it on the list, basically just because it has been an early access game. That's why I waited until official release. Now, what is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds? If you don't know, I'm guessing you never will. The concept of it all is jump out of a plane, drop down to a map, loot, get weapons, get backpacks, get grenades, get clothing, if that's what you're into, and be the last man standing on an ever-shrinking map. Why this game is so addictive and exciting is because every time you play, everything is on the line. Everything from loot to your weapons to just everything. That makes dying and or fighting people very, your adrenaline will pump. Gameplay is standard, shooty bang bang, but that's forgivable. It's a cool concept, and I'm gonna give it top 10.
Oh, thank you so much.
Number 9. Rime, I don't know. This game was not as popular, I feel like, but it's a beautiful puzzle game set on this island where there's mystical and hints of supernatural stuff going on, and I think of it as a very light Zelda type game, even though it doesn't really resemble that, but it gives you that feeling. And exploration is fun. The story is kind of intriguing. It pushes you forward to the end by making you interested in what is going on. Now, I played this game on this YouTube channel just for fun, and I did not know I would be fucking crying, while playing it, because that game, my dude. So it is a fun puzzle game, and I feel like it went under a lot of people's radar, which is sad because it was a good game, and I think it's fairly cheap if you wanna check it out. So please do that. Number 8. Wolfenstein 2 The New Colossus. Now, people are gonna be mad that I didn't put this up in the top 2, but I just didn't feel like it was good enough. Now, Wolfenstein, the first one, the 2015 one, I don't remember. It was fun. It was just batshit crazy. Gameplay was amazing. Gameplay felt amazing. Story and the world was also interesting to explore. Now, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, did not exceed my expectations from the first one. That's why it's so low on the list here, because I don't see why people are praising it so bad. It is a fun game. You shoot Nazis. You kick ass. There's a lot of cool cutscenes, and I guess it just didn't meet my top bar. But it's still a great game. If you push through it on a harder difficulty, that shit is it's intense. It's intense with amazing set pieces. There's a part in the game where you're rolling around in a wheelchair, shooting Nazis, and it's just batshit crazy. It's very fun. Not saying it's a bad game because it's on my top 10. It's a very fun game. It's kick-ass, and the story is serviceable. Yeah. Number 7, Nier Automata. Now, I have never played a game like this. It's hard even describing it, because the story is just out of this world, and The gameplay is serviceable and the graphics are mediocre, but when you sit down and play it and complete it like 2 or 3 times, I think you have to play it like 3 times to really get the understanding of the game. You're just gonna sit there with your mouth open. You gotta question your reality. It's that kind of game where you just sit down, you place your controller on the table and be like, oh, okay. I didn't know I would face my demons today, but here they are. So Nier Automata on my 7th place. I don't really know how to describe it. It's an experience you have to experience on your own. Great story, serviceable gameplay, very cool characters. A bit too anime for me, but if you like that kind of stuff, it's amazing. Number 6. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Now this is so high on the list mainly just because the audio design and the graphics are out of this world. Like if AAA games could just even if AAA fucking companies could just try, they could probably even make something better in terms of graphical fidelity. But this game looks amazing. It sounds batshit crazy, no pun intended. if you know if you know the game, and I'm just in awe every time I talk about it. I just need people to try it out because I'm so excited about it. The reason why it's so high on the list is because the story is interesting. You are Senua. You're on a quest. We don't really know what the quest is. That's kind of that's what's pushing you forward. On your way, you meet obstacles, you meet enemies, which are just weird as fuck. You beat them in a combat system, which is not the best. It is not Dark Souls, but I can see where it tried to be Dark Souls. The game just has a fantastic world to explore. You push through, finding out more about your past, finding out more what's going on, and the audio design is resembling someone having psychosis. Basically being kind of crazy, and audio recordings will have you think people are far away, maybe right in your ear, to your left, to your right. It feels like they're in your head. It's weird. I'm probably gonna pull up an audio clip to show you. But this is a game you need to play if you like experiences. And Jesus fucking Christ, it was an experience.
It's a door. No, it's not. Push it. Push it. Push it. She did it. Look. Something was different. Things changed. Different. Can you see it? She can't see it. Why can't she see it? Look how much it's changed.
It's funny. We all want to see behind the veil, don't we? Once we do, we mostly just close our eyes again and pretend what we saw was never really there.
Number 5. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Did you know in fucking Japan or whatever they called it Biohazard 7 Resident Evil? You're fucking crazies, man. Now this is so high on the list, and it's a bit controversial because a lot of people did not like this game just because they thought it was like a jump scare galore. But I feel like this Resident Evil really went back to its roots. I remember playing the first one and the second one, and I was just in awe about like how creepy it was, like the setting, the mood. It fucking made you cringe in a good way. And then came the 5th one and the 6th one, and that was just a let's say an action movie. It wasn't really scary. It was just like dull shit happening. And this game wanted to go back to its roots, like the scary stuff, and put a twist on it. First person. The story in Resident Evil 7 is fairly okay. I mean, you go to this big ass house to find your wife, and you meet all these interesting characters who turn out to be something out of this world, literally. This is where the Resident Evil comes in. And the characters you meet are so believable, and that's why it makes it so scary. Because they're people, and you can actually see some of that shit happening. Except for like turning into monsters and shit, but you know. The gameplay in the game is fairly okay, and progression feels very rewarding. You start off with nothing. Maybe you get a gun like fucking halfway into the game, or maybe even way before that. It's been a long time since I played it. But I never felt overpowered in the early stages where I needed to be scared. It was only in the end game where I got the big weapons and I could just blast through enemies. Even though the ending of the game sucked ass, kinda, with a certain section, and a lot of you might know what it is. But the game itself was an incredible adventure. I played it on my own, in the dark, on my computer, and I yelled out loud more times than I'm willing to admit. It was a fun time. Number 4. Prey. A game that went under so many radars, and it was so good. From Arcane Studios, the people that made Dishonored 1, Dishonored 2, and Death of the Outside, and probably a lot of other games actually. That's what they're most known for, I think. Now imagine you being on a space station infested with aliens. You are trying to survive, and you got a whole space station to explore. And the attention to detail in this game is insane. You can basically go on everyone's computers. You can find an email about like a half-eaten sandwich down in the cantina. You can go pick it up. That's pushing it. It's not like that, but it gives you an idea of how well constructed this game is when it comes to like attention to detail, character building. You can read through emails, audio logs, and even meet characters in the game, and it just gives you a feeling that you're on a space station. Now the gameplay in this is just fantastic. It's very tight. It gives you a feeling that you're in control, but it's very scary at times, with enemies just popping out of nowhere, mimics just turning from a teacup to an alien and just jumps into your face. It's amazing. It's a slash of horror. It's a slash of action. Depends on what difficulty you're playing on though. I usually play on Nightmare, and it's a very, very demanding game if you're playing on the harder difficulties, with inventory management, sneaking, ammo conservation. It's an amazing game. I recommend it if you enjoy exploring in general and just immersing yourself in a game. Number 3. Horizon Zero Dawn. Now I just played this. I just played this game, and I couldn't put the controller down for about 40 hours. Played it non-stop while I was sick in bed. And the story in that game had me pushing forward. I almost didn't even do any side quests. I pushed through because it was so interesting, and I was very satisfied with the story. Great story. And the graphics, the characters, and the exploration had me going for even a lot more hours after I was done with the story. I'm actually on my second playthrough in New Game Plus, and I'm gonna check out the DLC, and I feel like this is a worthy contendant to the top 3 just because it's interesting. This setting kinda hasn't been done before in this sense. It's doing some bold moves. It doesn't have microtransactions, which is basically true for all these games on the list, except for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. It's the black sheep, but I'll let it slide. Okay, that's why it's on the last spot. I just feel like there is a lot to this game. A lot of people will look over like the achievement of how good this game looks on a PS4. And I played it on a PS4 Pro, and it didn't crash. It didn't do anything like that. It was just an amazing experience that just made me more interested. Number 2, Cuphead. You kinda knew this was going to be on a lot of people's top 10 lists. I mean, have you looked at the game? The art style, the audio. It's basically like playing an old-timey cartoon movie, and it's amazing. It's basically a boss game, and that's all it is, but it does only that, and it does it good. Fighting bosses is so frustrating. It's like the Dark Souls of platformers, and the boss fights are very hard, and you will throw your controller in the wall. But that's fine, because when you manage to beat that boss, it is amazing. You don't want to put that fucking controller down. You want to go on. You want to go on and beat the next boss, because they are so interesting. It is a very rewarding game when you have grinded so many hours just to beat maybe one boss, and you do it, and you're just so happy you have to go on. And the boss designs, the boss like formations and stuff, when they morph into higher or more badass versions of themselves, you're just in awe. So every time you fight a boss, you go in, you're scared shitless, you die fucking countless times, and you go back in and you learn you learn how to defeat maybe the first section of the boss. Then you repeat, and when you finally get to kill the boss, it feels amazing. It feels amazing. So the gameplay is very rewarding. It feels like kind of a Dark Souls thing, you know, but it's not. And I feel like this game should definitely be on a lot of people's top 10 lists. Mainly, if not only, for the art style and audio design. Fantastic game. Number 1. Divinity Original Sin 2. I have not even completed this game. I am 136 hours in. I love this game. I absolutely love it. It is a kind of a CRPG game. If you do love like kind of old school top-down RPGs, it's the game for you. And if you don't like it, I don't think you're ever gonna like it. That's why this one might be a bit controversial. And I feel like it went under a lot of people's radars, and I feel like that is because the style of the game. Now don't let it push you away though, because this game is probably one of the best games I've played. It's probably on my top 5 list of top games ever. Now what is the game all about? It's about you being stranded on an island, and you are being hunted by something called Voidwoken. Now why all this is happening, you have to find out. You have to escape the island. You have to go to new lands, find out more and more. And there's no quest markers. There's no hand holding. There's no nothing. You are placed in the world. You get a journal. That's it. Do your thing. Everything from the beautiful environments. It looks amazing. To the freedom you have. You can go anywhere, do anything. You can go around fucking putting buckets on top of each other. You can go and smash an oil drum and light it on fire and have a fire in the woods. I don't know. It's the interactivity in the game and the freedom that comes with it makes it one of the best games I've ever played, only based on those few things. The gameplay and combat is a turn-based system, but with the options given to you with spells, attack moves, ways to maneuver around enemies, ways to level up your character. It is probably one of the most in-depth games I have ever played. You have an option to bring along characters, followers. You can even play as a follower in the character creation. You can be one of those followers, and if you don't want to, you can make your own character. You can be an elf, you can be a human, you can be a lizard, and you can be an undead. If you don't choose a character that's already pre-made, you can meet these characters later on in the game and use them as followers, and they have their own stories, and they're believable, they're interesting. You want to see where those stories go, and you also want to see where your story goes. Exploration, characters, world building, the freedom, everything on this list for this game makes it my top 10 game of 2017. Now, this was my opinion of 2017. There might be a lot of games I missed, might be a lot of games I didn't even try. Honorable mentions. I haven't even played a lot of these games. I heard Persona 5 is good. Assassin's Creed Origins wasn't the worst game I've ever played, but I got a bit infuriated by that game. The Zelda Breath of the Wild, played that a bit. It was very fun. Super Mario World Odyssey, also a very fun game, which I didn't play a lot of. I've only played a few levels. The Evil Within 2 is also a fantastic game, apparently. Now, this is my top 10 list of 2017. Hopefully in 2018 I will make 2018 my bitch with content. Okay, I know I've been away. I've been also very sick. I'm sitting here sweating while making this. So, happy holidays, guys. Have a good one. Eat a lot of good food. I don't know, you have your Boxing Day tomorrow. I don't know why you have that. Here in Norway, we just open the presents on the 24th. But yes, I will see you in the next one.